right, everyone, welcome back. Global News. Now listen, understand this, that you have multiple situations going on, as we already discussed in the P9. At this point, it's the P9. Okay, there is multiple sources reporting on this. Okay, sources that are close to the subject, close to the situation, discuss that Arizona, the University of Arizona, will be the next institute to join the Big 12. Now, let's break this down. Why would Arizona join the Big 12? Okay, there's a couple of catalysts and reasons why they're going to join the Big 12. Okay, sources close to the situation confirms that they are going to go to the Big 12. What does that mean? Well, for one, we have seen for the past year, okay, we have seen and heard disliking of the leadership of the Pac-12. And as time progressed and as things have transpired, there has been no action afterwards. Okay, no responses afterwards. Everything is all stagnant. So when you are looking to move forward with the leader, there must be some camaraderie. There must be some prioritizing. There must be ample consideration for wanting to lead or wanting to allow yourself to be led by the right leader. In this case, really, this comes down to choosing the better leader. If you look at the Pac-12 commissioner and the Big 12 commissioner, and then you see right there clearly what leadership, especially if you have this option. A lot of people don't understand, okay? It's not all the time, and it's not normal for institutes to have the option and availability to go to different conferences. If that was the case and the doors were always open, you will see movement all the time. This is only a special time. And when you look at it from that standpoint, you have that has been given to you a certain window to make adjustments and moves. And when you do this, it couldn't have came at a better time. As I always mention, you know, their contract is expiring in the Pac-12 next year, so there's no fees associated with it. So therefore, you can let it play out, and it haven't came at a better time. So with that being said, okay, Arizona is not happy with the leadership of the Pac-12. So is other members and institutes. And here's the three reasons and catalysts why Arizona will be joining the Big 12 before the football season begin early next month. Reason one, Colorado has already unveiled the opening for that to happen. That's the first reason. Colorado has already took the lead in moving to the Big 12. And when you look at what's left, do you see forward progress? Okay, going to the second catalyst, do you see forward progress in the current situation? Do you know what the numbers are in the TV deal? There's so much to compare and contrast. Not only the leadership, but let's look at the numbers, the TV numbers in comparison. That is the second reason. When you compare the TV numbers, they don't add the same. The third catalyst is Arizona is a natural fit for the Big 12. They are in the same geographic region. And it makes it even better for Colorado because they are also in the mountain time, and they are kind of like paired with being in the mountain time with Arizona. So Arizona geographically is a good fit. So when you put those three things together, okay, good leadership in the Big 12, TV numbers are higher, and the geographic location, not to mention the direction, the future is brighter there. And clearly what's going on with the ACC, and then you compare that with the Big 12, the Pac-12, it's obvious that the Big 12 is your choice. Now, over the next couple of weeks, you're going to see the exact same thing that happened with Colorado transpire with Arizona, because first it is coming together to decide, is the Big 12 the best move for them? And it's clearly going to be voted on, and they're going to come together before there's anything public. They're going to look at this and say, okay, let's compare the two side by side. What are the pluses, the pros, and the cons? And it's obvious that there's all pluses on the Big 12 side. The upside to the Big 12 is endless, and they're all pluses, okay? And then they're going to look at the current situation with the Pac-12 and what's going on with the Pac-12 and the plus side to it. And when you look for the pluses, there's just not any right now, because think about it. With Colorado leaving to the Big 12, not only do that take away, as I mentioned in a previous video, it makes the TV numbers even more complicated. Yes, there's a prospective expansion idea of which teams and schools to add to the Pac-12, but they don't compare, because each time a member leaves the conference, that number decreases. It don't matter who you try to replace them with, especially coming from a group of 5, okay? The numbers don't come back the same. So that's the other reason. If it was uncertain what the TV numbers would be for the Pac-12, this muddy the waters even much so. It's even more so uncertain that the number that was promised is not going to happen. So for all of these reasons, this is why you will see Arizona, the University of Arizona, going to the Big 12. Now, a lot of people talk about Arizona State University. Well, let's talk about them a little bit. The Big 12 kind of will pass on ASU for a number of reasons. Now, if it came down to it and Arizona was advocating for ASU, then maybe with a small grain of salt that they probably would add them. But there's 3 things that I really don't want to go into why they probably would not be interested in really adding them. Now, Utah, same difference. They kind of like dug themselves in a hole by kind of like saying, we're not interested. All this do is leave in the minds of those who have to make a decision is that, they only here because the TV contract or for the money or the numbers is not right. When you look at the reasons for the choices in which the decisions was made on which 2 schools to add from the Pac-12, considerably came down to the fact that they want to be there. That is the key. Out of all those schools there was 2 schools that vouched that they want to be there. They want to be there. This is the reason why, these schools are being added, because they want to be here and want to be there. So with that being said, look forward to Arizona, the University of Arizona, being that 14th school to join the Big 12. Now, if the Big 12 add any more other schools from the Pac-12, it would be probably conditional, just knowing the fact that, Oregon and Washington have already vouched, or there's been communication of them wanting to join the Big 10. The Big 12 commissioner already knows that. It's more of like, hey, for an example, if you want to join a conference, you're going to go communicate and talk to them, right? You're going to do that initially. And when the opportunity was given for people to communicate to conferences they want to go to, they pretty much chose. Likewise, Oregon and Washington chose to communicate with the Big 12. It was only the Big 12 stated that they wasn't interested in adding any new schools at the moment. So then you call option B, which is the Big 12. The Big 12 commissioner knows this. So he's looking at it like, okay, well, you know, clearly we're not the school that you want. Clearly we're not the conference that you want to attend or go to. So therefore, you know, we don't want you. If you do not want to be here, we don't want you. And that's called, that in itself is called stability. You know why? Because guess what? He don't have to worry about a school 10 years down the road or the next contract jumping ships because they didn't want to be there. And that's the whole point about this whole thing. Okay. I will say, if they add Oregon and Washington, it will probably be some stipulations. And I don't think the Big 12 want to go through all that. So you can rest assured that Arizona, the University of Arizona, will be joining the Big 12. And then on top of that, and it'll be before the season start, the football season, and then the Big 12 is going to focus east and look at what's going on with the ACC, because there's at least 4 schools there that they would like to add. At least 4 schools. You know, if they can get, you know, whatever they can get there is fine. And then they'll do some fillers with potentially, remember that third line of on the road to 20, that's when all the other schools come into play. But right now, everything's a power move, and that's what the focus is. The Pac-12 and the ACC, period. That's where everything is now. No need to add any more G5 schools. It's just not. Now, I'm hearing this talk about UConn being a group of 5 school, when clearly, if to my understanding, about, unless they lost that status about 10 years ago when they were mentioning what schools would be considered group of 5 schools, to my understanding, I believe UConn was considered a school like Notre Dame and BYU, because for the simple fact of their accolades on the court. Now, as far as funding wise, yeah, they wasn't getting paid like that. But remember, they came from the Big East. The Big East used to be a power conference until it lost that status. So who's to say? But the point is, UConn definitely should be a P5 school, period. I mean, I don't see how they're not. I understand about their football and their financial struggles or whatnot, but I do not really understand why they would not be considered that. But who's to say? That's besides the point. But yeah, Pac-12, ACC, get ready. Arizona, the University of Arizona will be joining the Big 12. Once again, if you like this video, support the channel. Thank y'all for watching. Have a great day. Global News.